Dr. William James here again. Um, Wanted to speak a little bit about the trans community, like all types of transitions, because I don't believe people are really putting this in context. Like, when we think of trans, people think of transgender, transsexual, but in 2019, headed into 2020, we have all different types of transitions that people are saying. People are identifying as many different things now. If you see on the news or on the internet, you got people identifying as pets, like legit people saying like, "Oh, I identify as like a dog." You have people identifying with different ages. Like, you have grown people talking about, I identify as, an 8-year-old, and I want someone to adopt me. Like, look this stuff up. You have all these crazy things. Like, as we saw about 5 years ago now with Rachel Dolezal, she was like transracial. Like, oh, I'm white. She was white, but she was like, I never identified as white. I'm black. She changed the way she looked to look like a black woman, and you wouldn't really be able to tell if you didn't know her, if you didn't know her story, and if things didn't come out, because you would just think that she was a lighter skinned black person, because we know that black people come in many different shades. I say that to add to my point from yesterday's video. Just because someone is transsexual, transgender, and they change the way they look outwardly, that doesn't change their sex. Just like Rachel Dolezal, or Dolezal, whatever, changing her appearance outwardly doesn't change her race. She is a white woman regardless of how she looks outwardly, because it's biological. Her race is different. She has 2 white parents, so she is white. Plain and simple. That's the end to the discussion. The same thing with a black person. You might be an albino, you might be something different. But if you have 2 black parents, you are black. Plain and simple. So we can't play games with facts and science. If someone gets, a surgical procedure done, sexual realignment or reassignment, whatever, it doesn't change what you are scientifically, what you are in fact. Your genes, your blood, the chemicals of your body. You are what you are. So we have to be careful, because it's getting spooky, it's getting crazy, it's getting really irrational. I don't see how you can support someone being transsexual and then not support someone being transracial. Like, if you can say someone was born the wrong sex, how can you not say it's possible for someone to consider themselves born the wrong race? And like, you open the door for all these different things when you say someone can be born the wrong sex. If someone could be a grown adult, grown woman, grown man, and say, you know what? I'm 28 years old, but my whole life I felt like I was a woman. So I'm going to go get this surgical procedure done and become a woman. And treat me like a woman, call me a woman, etc. You open the door for all of these different people to say, you know what? I'm a white woman, but my whole life I felt like a black woman. I identify with, black people. I think I identify with their struggle. I'm black. So, I'm going to go get this tan. I'm going to, change my hair, culturally appropriate, live in this community, and call myself black. Which is dangerous because you have to think about things like affirmative action and certain things that are put in place to somewhat benefit or help people of color. Like there's laws to try to protect us from discrimination. You know, I've worked at different jobs where I've made arguments like, yo, there's not enough black people in here. Like, fix it now. Because, like, it's going to be a lawsuit of racial discrimination here if you only have two black people working here out of 100. If you got people who are able to identify as black even though they're not black, there's no racial discrimination. You'd be like, on paper we have 42 black people working here. See that person over there who looks like such and such? Whatever type of European person. I don't want to say anyone's name as an example. But that person identifies as black. They're black. That's dangerous. And the same thing can happen with transsexuals. Like, you lived your whole life as a male. You got male privilege. We know how the glass ceiling is in the workplace. We know how it is with different pay rates for males and females. It's just really wrong for a man to say he identifies as a woman. He's become a woman, and a woman to say she's become a man, because there's certain benefits, there's certain pros and cons that come with being a man in society, and there's pros and cons that come with being a woman in society. But you're not changing, just scientifically, you're not changing your sex. If you now look a certain way, people are going to treat you differently because they might not know. So if you look and you see a transsexual person who has gotten surgery and they look like a woman, you can't tell. With all of them, it's not possible to tell that this is a person who had surgery done. So they're gonna be treated differently. They might go out in society and be treated like, a woman. But it doesn't make you a woman. And we're dealing with, like I said, it's dangerous. Because where does it stop? Where does it stop? And I talk about this in my book, The Individual, Think First. The Individual, Think First, on Amazon. It's on barnesandnoble.com. When does it stop if we're letting people just identify with whatever they want? And Dave Chappelle made a joke about it on his new comedy special about, him being a black man. He was like, but wouldn't it be funny if I was walking around thinking I was like an Asian man, a Chinese man inside? So you're saying all of these like slurs and things like that as if you're Asian but you're a black man, and like, I don't think people would find it funny. Like, I wouldn't find it funny if a white man, came up to me and said certain things and he was like, no, but I identify as black. It's like, that's dangerous. And I don't understand how people could be on the opposing end of this argument. Like, I don't get the logic, because it's not, we're dealing with, it's false. We're dealing with like irrationality and things that make no sense. And I can't dumb down my intelligence and my ability to be cerebral because other people want to be too sensitive and they want to just support other people's truth, which is not a universal truth. It's just their truth. Your truth is your truth, but you can keep your truth to yourself. I don't have to agree with your truth when it's not supported by any facts. I'm speaking facts, and that's the thing I don't like. When you speak facts to a person's truth, they assume that you're being opinionated. No, I'm speaking facts. Scientifically, you are a woman. If you're a trans man, you're a woman. If you're a trans woman, you're a man. I'm speaking facts. Scientifically, you're a male. You can never be a real woman. In all factuality, a real woman doesn't need surgery to be considered a woman. That's a fact. I'm not speaking from opinion. So now, because you got this surgery saying you're a woman is false. Just because you took a penis, split it open, and inserted it inside you, reversed the tissue, that does not make you a woman. That hole doesn't function like a vagina. There's no Bartholin gland. The vagina is a self-cleaning organism. It functions a certain way. That's why women get a cycle. Their body functions a certain way. That male body who has this surgery with the tissue reversed, this procedure, which you can look up online and see, does not make that an actual vagina just because it looks like one. That person is a male who got a surgical procedure done. They just so happen to get work done on a sex organ. That's it. Their body is not like a woman. They're not producing milk. And it's just totally different. I just wanted to speak on this real quickly. I'm normally going to do videos when I'm like commuting and stuff like that because like I have a busy schedule. But I just want people to think about how spooky this is and how dangerous it is with all of these different type of trans people. And just like how you're going to say Rachel Dolezal was crazy for saying that, you know, she's black and identifying with a different race and trying to steal a whole different race after filing lawsuits as a white woman. It's crazy for someone to live their whole life and try to change their sex. Or just like at any age, you can't change your sex. Just like you can't change your race. Just like you can't change like being human. You're not a fish. You're like, I identify as a fish and I'm gonna put on like a fin, or I identify as dog. I'm gonna go get a tail surgically put on my back. Like, you're not a dog. I'm gonna eat dog food and try to live like a dog. That doesn't make you a dog. That makes you a human who's trying to emulate and like, you know, copy and replicate the life of what you see dogs living. Like, even what you see with these transgender so-called women, they put on heels, they put on makeup, they put on like hair extensions and stuff, things that they stereotypically or are associate with women. A real woman can wear anything and is still a woman. A real woman is a woman wearing sweatpants, no makeup, no hair extensions, etc. That's still a real woman. In her natural essence, that's a real woman. So all of these like Caitlyn Jenners and stuff like that, they have to go through all of this stuff because they still know inside that they're a damn man. Like, I'm not dealing with any of this spookism, any of this irrationalism, any of the nonsense, any of people's opinions. I deal with facts. I don't play games. So, come with facts, be logical, be rational, and really consider what's taking place, because they're forcing this stuff down our throats. It's changing society. They're teaching it in schools, and like, It's just terrible. Like no logic whatsoever, no facts whatsoever. But I just wanted to share that real quickly. Um, like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Let me know your thoughts. Dr. William James signing out. Peace and love.